Alright, full patch preview, 14.6. Smolder. We don't think Smolder has any underlying issues that make him long-term problematic in terms of kit design. He's just a bit too strong and that's not allowing his weaknesses, weaker early game, to manifest. Hitting some of the more frustrating aspects, how escapable he is, and W hitbox not quite matching visuals. Also hitting the scaling of the execute. Galio. Changes are a little tricky to get Galio onto more durable builds without overly buffing support, who is much more reliant on actually engaging. We're trying to incentivize having him regularly get multi-passive procs into his combos. A lot of the tinkering here is to ensure that mid lane lands stronger than support. Support frequently maxes W, while mid maxes Q. Cho'Gath, buffing his first max, but also giving some additional laning power through lowering rank once WCD. Diana, mostly attack speed focus changes for Diana jungle, focus on clear split when she has much higher uptime on attacking. Ornn, as mentioned yesterday, we're looking at some buffs for each of the top farming tanks while still doing the tech discovery on a more sustainable implementation of an Ornn item solution. Qmax second is a bit more powerful than Emax, so we're trying to make them more situation equivalent in power by buffing E rank 1 in value. Well, let me tell you something, guys. This is a straight up lie. Okay? Lie meter on maximum. You guys want me to show you? Straight up lie. You can look at any stats you possibly want. You can also play Ornn yourself. Okay? You can look at Master Plus, you can look at Diamond Plus. You're gonna quickly realize that Emax second is always better than Qmax second. Always. In fact, Emax first Ornn also has decent win rate, although it's only 28 games. A lot of people don't know, but that is the take I used to do back then when I played in 2020 Ornn mid in LEC. Okay? So yeah, this is just a straight up lie. You're never maxing Q second, you're maxing E second, if you're good at the game, right? So, wrong. Shen. More shields in the early game should help with Shen's early game trading. It's been a long time since Shen has been viable, especially in higher levels of play where he was once balanced. Sion is currently doing some interesting AD hybrid builds, probably talking about buffs. While this means that the build will benefit from both portions of the buff, we want to scale both his durability and damage, as they both feel somewhat reasonable. In addition, the buffs are focused on helping his scaling as one of the more scaling tank fantasies. Yeah, this is fine, okay? Briar has proven to be pretty powerful in lower skill brackets, but not as effective in higher. We're getting here a little more skill expression through being able to Q wards while reducing the effectiveness. I think Briar being able to Q wards is almost never gonna be a useful scenario. I really doubt it. Maybe if you like ward hop, right? You can go over walls. Like, that's the only useful thing I can think of. I don't think you're gonna like magically ward hop on a ward in the middle of the fight, but maybe you're gonna use it to escape. Gragas is mostly building the items that we intend for his AP bruisery pattern. He's just a little too strong in the lead brackets, so we're giving him a generic nerf. Karma. Karma is too good in mid lane, and Malignance has been super good on her ever since the item changes. We're increasing her mana vision and increasing mana to bias her more towards support items. The R cooldown reductions from season 13 is no longer makes much sense, with Malignance reducing ult CD, so we're reverting them and also reducing the impact of her passive refund. Okay, good. I definitely think the problem with Karma is that like she just has RQ non-stop up, like especially later in the game. I think it's just like so stupid. It's like she's urfing on RQ all the time, and now it does damage because she has good AP skill. Senna. Last patch's changes on the shot, which was very obvious. So we're gonna back to tried and true her with a lever we know is effective. Volibear. A lot of players are having fun with Volibear. Maybe a little too much fun. Volibear's gameplay pattern is a little bit binary in that he either gets on you and kills you or he doesn't. That is true. That is true. We're looking to make that he gets a new part a bit less guaranteed. When he disables towers, it also results in pretty low counterplay states where there's nothing you can really do about it. Increasing early RCD to reduce some of this case a bit as a result. Kayn, nerfing Shadow Assassin Dispatch and also buffing Rouse builds. Okay. So let's see. So Cho'Gath will get 2 seconds of CD on W, and E spike damage is gonna go up. Especially if you max it first. Okay. I would say decent Cho'Gath buffs. This mostly buffs Emax Cho'Gath. If you're playing AP and you max Q, these buffs will not be that noticeable. However, the W rank 1 buff is very, very good because you max this usually second or third. Probably second in most cases. So this is a really good buff on Cho. I think it's just gonna be like a nice solo queue buff. I don't think Cho'Gath will be played in competitive. It's just champ's too weak. Can't land Q. Till Riot will magically rework Cho'Gath Q. I think Cho will probably never be played in Pro, most likely. But also, I mean, it's a good Senna Cho buff if someone wants to play it on bot lane in Pro. But also, you know what I think the biggest weakness of Cho is, like a weakness that people don't talk about? The fact that he has so high HP, I think, and then that it grows in size is just a massive weakness to the champion. There's so many things like percent damage in the game, like Bork and certain abilities that just melt Cho'Gath way too fast, like Lianji as well is really good into that. Diana jungle, attack speed ratio will go up, AS growth will go 2%. It's still a buff, I guess, because of the AS ratio, right? Even though the growth is down. Level 1 is unchanged. Passive attack speed is 15 to 40 every third level to 15 to 35, scaling linearly, so it's a buff because majority of the ranks is going to be more, right? Active attack speed is 3x for 3 seconds, 3x for 5 seconds, so it's easier to upkeep the Diana passive. Okay. I definitely agree with Ra that these buffs are definitely more jungle skewed than any other lane. Ornn, E cooldown down by 2 seconds. Funny enough, this actually makes it so Q max becomes more competitive with E max second, right? So, maybe the win rate after this patch is that Q max second will be actually better because, yeah, there's less reason to put points into E when you increase the cooldown rank 1 of the ability. Rek'Sai bug fixes on W and R. This is actually the second patch they're bug fixing Rek'Sai. Shen passive refund will go from 4 to 475 linear level scaling. This is a buff levels 2 to 17, especially 8 to 16. Okay. I think this Shen buff is so fucking weak, not gonna lie, but okay. Sure. Sun, Q minimum damage will go, the scaling will go up by 5% late. Right? Yeah. Less early, more late. Q max damage will go up by 15% total AD scale. Big bounce buff. Especially like Lethality Sun. Big buff to damage. W shield. Maybe they worded it wrong. Seemed like they wanted to make Q max second stronger. Maybe. W shield will go up late game in percent. So it's mostly a late game buff here. No surprise, or Sun is a big HP stacker with items like Heartsteel and whatever and Sunfire, so yeah, this is a buff rank 2 to 5 above 1k max HP. Okay. So okay. Need to be rank 2 or 5. Okay, so Sun W will only be buffed at like level 8. Tryndamere, as I predicted, he's getting a placebo buff. I literally said this in my previous patch preview. He's not gonna get a big buff just because community cries about Tryndamere the entire time. Tryndamere definitely deserves, I would say, bigger buff than this, but yeah, a little bit attack speed growth. This is to kind of like compensate the fact that he's just having less attack speed right now with lethal tempo being nerfed, right? And that hit him a bit early game. But then again, not really, right? It's attack speed growth buff, which is with levels, and tempo also becomes better with levels. So honestly, kind of a weird buff if you ask me. But okay, I don't think this does anything really. Bigger buffs for Tryndamere are these items down here. Briar W heal down by 5% one early, so it's a late game nerf. W attack speed will go down by 5%. That's interesting. That's not something they put into the Twitter. Okay. So less attack speed on W. So this is her most maxed ability, right? Like it's her insta max ability. So she's getting hit pretty much through early game already. Q can award to jump towards, and then ult will lose 100 max rank damage. Okay, decent Briar nerfs. Mostly late game skewed. Gragas 30 health down and Q mana cost down. I honestly think these Gragas nerfs are bigger than people think. 30 HP, it has like an importance in some matchups, definitely. It also like, having lower HP also means your passive is healing you less, right? Because you start with less HP. So your passive is also giving you a little bit less sustain in lane. And then the Q mana cost, I think that's also a pretty big change, because like, the thing about Gragas is that early game he has like really big mana issues, but then his Q goes down in mana. And then once you get to like level 9, you're fine with mana because you have chapter and Q. Now Q being 80 mana, like that's gonna hurt really a lot of his mana, honestly. I think this is like he can have mana problems, you know, as a champion. He's probably still fine in the hands of like a really good Gragas player, but yeah, this would probably be slightly noticeable, especially in early game. Karma, Mana growth down by 10, mana regen up. Q mana 40 to 80, finally, thank God. Riot has finally added a real mana cost to Karma Q. The fact that this ability is 45 mana at every rank was a crime. Passive refund 4 seconds, okay, so last Malignance RQ spam. Passive cooldown up by 3 seconds, that's definitely gonna be also impactful. RE bonus shield will go down, up early. Oh, okay. So Riot is trying to make Karma do more REs, but I think with current playstyle where you buy Malignance, this is not gonna really help. Currently, Karma's best playstyle and the only realistic playstyle is to just spam RQ, 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 whether you support mid or top with Malignance. That item is too good. Senna ADC, miss rate spawn rate on minion kill went from 8.3 to 2.8. So, okay. Let me walk you through the history, okay? Riot has done this change a billion times. Basically, this change completely nerfs only ADC Senna, okay? Fasting Senna does not really get affected by this, because Fasting Senna does not kill minions. But ADC Senna kills a lot of minions. So basically, let me tell you what's gonna happen. ADC Senna is gonna die with this change. Because Riot has done the same change a billion times. Every time they lower this number to like 2% or 3%, Senna dies. Every time they increase this number to like 7, 8 or 9%, Senna lives. It's every time this happens. This has happened like 5 times already. So ADC Senna is gonna die. Completely. At every rank. I'm sure of it. I think support Senna will stay. Smolder. Okay, so these are big Smolder nerfs. So Q 225 stack execute threshold. What? 6.5 no scaling? Wait, what? His Q doesn't scale anymore with execute? Wait. What? Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, his Q is 6.5 true damage burn, just like it was at the beginning when the champ was released, right? This is the same number, I think, right? Execute now only checks after Smolder deals damage instead of any teammate. I don't even know. I guess the execute of Smolder was triggering too fast. Is that what it means? Oh, that's execute threshold. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm wrong. Okay, never mind. Let me read it again. So this is the HP where the champion will get executed. Will be flat now. It will not scale. Because in late game, the Smolder Q can scale to like 10% of someone's max health, which is crazy if you think about it, right? 10%. Now, if you add that with term X5, it means that 50% of health of champions is just gone because of Smolder. Like, what? Of 5 champs. That's crazy, right? Together. Anyway. Okay, so that's a massive nerf to the champ. Execute now only checks in after Smolder deals damage instead of any teammate. That's probably like Smolder execute was just triggering too fast, I would assume. And then W missile weight is down by 10. So this is true, okay? I think this is a good change. This is completely true. Smolder W weight is bodily. It is way bigger than the hitbox shows you. It is way too easy to hit this ability for the most part. I think this is a good change, the W one. E bonus MS will go down by 25. That's a massive escape nerf. And I don't like it. I personally think this is a wrong approach to the ability. I think Riot should have nerfed the cooldown of the ability. Because right now Smolder is buying Essence River and Sojin and Navori. These are all CDR items. Because his build is so much around haste, I really think they should just add a second or two on the ability cooldown. So I think this is a mistaken change. The W missile is an amazing change. And the Q, I think, is just gonna kill the champion. So maybe. I think maybe. How do I say it? Like maybe Smolder will be viable in like Iron, Bronze, and Silver. Because games go very long there and maybe he's still useful. But I just think in general, the champ will be that. Volibear, QMS down by 4%. I don't know what the original number was before they buffed this ability, but I think this is also genuinely a really good change. I think Volibear should not be running as fast as he is, and his chunk should more be when he goes on top of you that he's like a really strong duelist. I also think, you know what I think the most? it's a really the reason why Volibear Q feels so oppressive is because Volibear top often buys items like that misplate, and same goes for jungle. So they buy items that give them MS, which makes this Q ability have no counterplay. Because the way Volibear Q is that even if you cancel the ability, Volibear gets the cooldown refund. And now another reason why I think Volibear doesn't smite this slow, like people just smite you and then they catch you, so it's kinda annoying. Our cooldown up by 10, okay, well fine. Galio, passive CD refunded by 3 per champion or epic monster hit with ability. Okay, so epic monster, does that mean he will jungle? Probably not, but yeah, okay. Passive gains 40 attack speed. This is amazing for Galio. Because passive feels really good when you have Lichbane on Galio. So if you don't buy Lichbane, this change is gonna feel amazing. This is really good, I think, for satisfaction. Passive base damage is down by a shit ton. Passive AP ratio is down by 10%. Q CD is down 1 by max rank. Q AP ratio is down by 5%, so that's not that big of a nerf. WDR, so this is like DR, what is DR? I don't know, damage reduction. 25 to 45, 5% AP to 12% bonus MR. 20 to 40, so that's a 5% nerf. 1% AP ratio nerf, and 4% MR nerf. But they give you a 1 per 100 HP scale. W base damage decreased also by 20. E base damage decreased by 15. E non-champion damage up by 30, so a bit of a wave creep buff. I personally think these are just nerfs. Like, I don't know. I read this, I just think they're nerfs. The numbers are different than the last time I read them. They changed a little bit, but I still think these are nerfs. The pass is getting hit like crazy. I think the Q is generally a bit worse of an ability. Although the Q is not affected that much, but the W is worse. I think the E is worse and the pass is worse. I think the pass alone is just too big of a hit. Kayn, Q locks out items during animation pro 500. Our base damage assassin damage is down by 25% base total base AD or whatever. Ross Q damage is gonna go up. Right? Yeah, 6 right here. It's going up. Rust is better. Shadow Assassin is nerfed. If I understand this correctly, I think the Shadow Assassin nerf is actually bigger than the Rust buff in this case. Let me swap. Hopefully someone swaps me. Infinity Edge, crit damage up by 10. This is nice. Navori, quick blades. Although I still think, yeah, wrong buff, but okay. Navori, 5 AD, pickaxe for BF. So when you're building the item, it's worse, but when you complete the item, it's better. Sure. I think we'll take that. Armor pen on LDR Mortal up by 5. These items are already really strong. This is kind of scary. I think Lord Dominic's is like so fucking OP when your champ is low health and enemy champs are high health. I think the Giant Slayer passive genuinely is so overtuned on this item. System nerfs, epic item stat efficiency. Yeah, we talked about this. Nerfs to some lethality mages and nerfs to tanks, I think, or whatever it was. Solstice Sly, another nerf. This is amazing. This item is far too overtuned and too easy to use. Maokai support, etc. Buff duration 3 to 2.5, move speed 5% down. Nice. I think this is good. Support item gold income, active gold reduced 25%, passive gold per turn unchanged, quest targets are now 400 to 800, expected timing unchanged, good. So supports, TLDR supports are gonna like get, what, like a little bit less gold, like 200 gold per game less. That's nice. Void grabs, decaying health, decaying heal on death, okay, nice. No adorns, no attack as unique starting items and cannot be purchased together with jungle item and support item. Overall, decent. Yeah, the patch is okay, but I am complaining that they're going a bit too placebo on some of these buffs, in my opinion, like Shen and Tryndamere. And I think they're going they're just a little bit too little champs, IMO. I think it would be nicer if there was slightly more buffs, slightly more nerfs in the patch.